Hi friends, today I want to talk about Chinese smartphones and Indian smartphones. As you know that with the war sort of situation going on between India and China, there is a huge discussion going on within the Indian community that we should boycott Chinese phone. So in this regard, I wanted to make a video where I discuss about Chinese smartphones and Indian smartphones and what alternatives do we have. To start with, first I would like to start with some statistics where let us see which are the top Chinese smartphones brands that we have in India. And on this, Xiaomi has 31% market hold in India, Vivo has 17%, Realme has 14%, Oppo 12%, and OnePlus 33% of the premium market. And these are only a share of the Chinese smartphone brands in India. And now let us try to remember some of the Indian brands that we have in India. Two brands that I can remember off my head is Micromax and Lava. If you can remember some other smartphone brands which are Indian, please do comment below. Now the second thing, we have seen that over the years, Micromax, which had a huge market share, I think it was 20% or 30% market share which it had at one point of time, has now been reduced to like 1 or 2% market share now. So one of the biggest let me list down like 5 or 6 biggest reasons why the Indian smartphones have lost their market share. The main reason being innovation. All these Indian companies, they did not focus on innovating or adding new features or things to their smartphone which would make it attractive to the consumers, because smartphone is a very dynamically changing market where every day there is something new, and if you don't innovate, you are left behind. Second is focus on profits. The Indian smartphone companies were running on a huge margin of profits between like 20 to 30%. This is very high compared to Chinese, because then your phones are costly, and Chinese are basically giving you a cheaper phone with more features at lower cost. And third is the quality of products are very low. I had a friend who used Micromax. Even I used Micromax at one point of time. When you hold the phone, the look and feel was not very nice. Third and fourth point which I wanted is Make in India initiative. So what happened with Make in India initiative is all these Chinese companies like Xiaomi, Vivo, Realme, Oppo, they came down and set up plants in India where they basically took advantage of Make in India initiative, and they got all the tax benefits. That's why you have these Chinese companies making phone in India and at a cheaper rate with getting tax benefits. And I would say that as a citizen, the government should look into these. Why are the Chinese companies coming to India and setting up assembly centers or manufacturing centers and taking benefit of Make in India initiative? The fifth point, which Chinese basically had an advantage, is the Chinese manufacturing in bulk, which the Indian manufacturers could not compete. Now the important part. Are the smartphones in India really made in India? So what these Indian smartphone companies were basically doing previously were, they were getting the parts. Those two men, they were doing it by two ways. One is they were getting the parts from China and assembling it. Second is there were Chinese companies which did manufacturing non-branded mobiles. So basically they would manufacture any mobile you say, and then you can put your own label. I can go and I'll tell them to manufacture mobile for any mobile, any design, and I can put my name on that. Citizen Kamran on all the mobiles. So this is where, because there's no real manufacturing happening in India, they were basically assembling Chinese products or rebranding Chinese phones and selling it. And now what happened is you cannot compete when you're rebranding, when you're not selling your own product, because these companies which are rebranding now, they have also started selling it directly to consumers in India. So overall, what I feel is, I personally could not find a Indian smartphone which is truly developed in India. Like the design is Indian, the software is Indian, the electronics in it is Indian, everything is Indian. So either we are assembling things from China or getting it rebranded. So if you can find something which is truly made in India, then please do comment in the below. And if you did like this video, then please do subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.